Right, evening all. Thanks for coming, or turning up, I should say. As you can see, we've got three speakers for tonight. We've got Neil from Warsaw. He's talking about on his plot. He's a new speaker. Good man, good man. Second speaker is Jeffrey from Belgium, obviously on his plot. Then we've got Dave from Chesterfield, from his work and plot. Another new speaker, which is what we want. Obviously, everybody's got different growing methods. I do different things, and somebody picks something up every week, just one little thing, then it's better for everybody, eh? Right, let's get going. This is Abbey Road allotments. This is in our locker room, and that one there is the committee locker. Why have I gone down there? Because in there we've got all the tools, trimmers, and all the gums. What I want to do is borrow some of this. Because I bought my little strimmer from Lidl last week, 20 quid. But we'll come on to that later on. Right, Craig goes down the plot. He's got his own wormery, and he's got loads of liquid worm feed, and he started giving me a couple of bottles of that. So there's something else I'm trialing. And we also got the speakers on. If you can keep your questions to the end, once I've finished, then we can get the questions in. I don't want them interrupted, especially the new ones. I don't want them put off. So this is a new feed for me this week. This is what I'm going through. The dog barking like we're going downstairs. This is me heavy Swede in the growing chamber on the plot, as you can see there. So these are getting a weekly feed of this lot as well. This is me perennial kale, I should say, which I had off Keith. I'm going to take some outside flags off him, or leaves I should say, not bloody flags. The new growth here, obviously, I want that to start up again. So it's just the outside leaves I'm taking off for a meal, as you can see there. So the ones on the bottom, which are them ain't no good, they'll be composted. Then we'll put to one side for a meal. Then I will go to my greyhound cabbage, which I've got growing next door to it. And then I'll take the outsides, lower leaves off there. And he will last me moons exactly the same as the other one. So I've got two decent lots. So going back home from the plot, I've got two duck eggs off my mate John next door, and me greens for tea, and me bitter streaming wire. Right, 8-ounce onions, tough ball, back of the garden again. This is just a week's growth. If you remember last week, I put the new canes on, extended the canes, and I put 2 onion clips on, as you can see there. If we go in there, all these, don't forget, all these onions, flutes, all these were put inside the clips. So just within a week, that's how much they've grown. You can see he's coming the outside of that one. That one's come the outside of that one. And all I'm doing is putting them back inside the clips. So that's just the growth in a week. So that's just shows you, don't forget these are outside, although they've got a lid on. Both sides are open. So if we do get the rains and the winds, they're going to still get that. But it just shows you how much that soil is warming up. I mean, it just shows you the difference it makes, just a bit of warmth. These are me pickling shallots. I want these up at 30mm, obviously for exhibition for one of our classes. And that's what I'm using. Right, back in the greenhouse, I've still got my propagator on. He's still switched on. Obviously the lid is still off. But if you remember last week, I put some black-eyed Susie seeds in there. I've sown them. And these have come through. I think they said at least 19 days to germinate. And these have come through within 9 days. Don't forget they have got that. I've put a bit of cling film on them, which helps them out That's like a mini greenhouse. Plus I've still got that heat underneath from the mat. So I'm chuffed them have come through. There's a little chaps. Right, me oddens from my shallots, all the funny shaped ones. Then we're going to dinner. Fried them up, bunged them on my dinner. It's not a salad, so I'll put a bit of gravy on it. Once I ate off that, I'll put another dollop of gravy on. It was a lot of big grub. Oh, Neil. Our first speaker tonight is Neil from Walsall. I've known Neil a few years from league clubs and whatever. He's a good lad, and he's going to talk us through his stuff tonight. When you wanted me to go on to the next photo, Neil, just give us a nudge. Okay, mate?
Okay, mate.
You.
Okay, mate.
All yours?
Okay, then, mate. Okay, mate. This is my red cabbage. I broke the world record with this one. It was £69, 10 ounces. I beat the world record by about £16.5. The reason I got into showing was, one was Mickey P got me into it. And he took me down, and I seen him on a place in Wolverhampton. He took me around showing me all the stuff what I had to do. And then he asked me to join the Stourbridge Lake Society. So I joined. And then there was a good friend of mine what was there as well, called Bob Plant. He showed me a few things what to do. I come from Warsaw, a nice little shipping village it's called. I live in Warsaw. And then most of my vegetables showing, I did down Wednesday on my allotment with a chap called Chris Evans. He's another good grower, he's another showman. And I've always got the grandkids around me, they're always on there. I've got my daughter on the allotment. I've got my brother on the allotment. And Chris is a future son-in-law. Hopefully not, though. Okay, Mick. These are more my cabbage seed heads for this year off my giant, what I growed the giant veg with, what broke the world record. There was two of them. One was both the same size sort of thing, so I thought I'd put them both back to seed. And also what I've done is took a root cutting off, which hopefully this year will give me the same joint cabbage for this year. And plus I had the seeds anyway, so hopefully if I got any spare seeds, I can let you have some, whoever wants some. Okay, Mick. These are me. I think I was more pleased with these, my onions, than I was with me breaking the world record, I think. I had 3 £10 onions, which is the first time I ever growed onions properly. And I got to £10. I know it ain't as big as some of them grow, but it broke my record by about £2 or £3. So I was really happy with these. I've always got the children, grandkids around me, so I was really happy. What then is Billy Lamb onions, seeds, and I always grow Billy Lambs. I always have. I had them off Chris. He got the seeds off Alan Davison. So that's what we do. We share each other's seed, and that's how we do it. Okay, Mick. These are show onions, these are the Peter Holden's seeds, which everybody's trying to find and get off him. But my mate got them for me, and they're really doing well this year. I usually grow Kelsey onion seeds, but Peter Holden's, what I've seen of his, it's a more rounder shape. It's a real nice onion seed. So I've took to them really well. I'm like the look of these. I had some pips and I had some seeds, but the pips are a bit in front of the seeds. But all I put on my beds, I don't sprinkle loads of stuff on to grow stuff. All I do is put a bit of oof and horn and a bit of microwave fungi in the hole, and that's it. And they grow really well. Okay, Mick. This is a lung chili. I ain't never ground them before. This is a lung chili pepper. Lung chili. Sorry. And this is before I potted it on. What I do is I use humate compost and I put a bit of microbial fungi around it. Okay, Mick? And this is it after. I'm really pleased with these. My mate says he's them a bit shorter than mine, and he says he wants lungans because they grow better. So I'm really pleased with them at the moment. They're looking really well. I've got to pot them on in the next week to get them ready into the final pot. Okay, Mick. I had some dahlias, Cura Challenger. They ain't come at all for me very good, these ones. So what I done, a friend called David Gillian, he told me to, if you got no life in it, cut them into 3 parts and see if it knocks them into germinating. So I've tried to do it. Okay, Mick. And that's the 3 of them. And I potted them all on. And at the moment, there's still no life in 2 of them, but the little one on the right-hand side, that started to germinate. So I'm happy with them. Really pleased. Okay, Mick. These are my joint cabbages for this year. I'll grow red and green. My green ones I had off a chap what comes second at Malvern. I forgot his name at the moment. He comes second at Malvern 2 years ago, like. And I'm doing well. I planted them out now. I had to plant them out. I had no other space in my greenhouse, so it's just hope the weather picks up a little bit. My red cabbage, it's a 4th one along. You can't see it on there. It's a 4th one along, and that was my root cutting, and it's taking the shape of its mother plant, what broke the world record. So I'm really hopeful for that. And I think it was 4th 2 years ago, and I took the seed heads off them, and I'm doing fine as well. But what I do with my cabbages, I sprinkle some lime in the hole because my mate on the allotment says if I sprinkle a load of lime in the hole and stops the club root, and I also put a rhubarb leaf in, and it stops the aphids a lot and stops the butterflies nesting on there. And what I do as well, once a week I spray with rhubarb because I've got some rhubarb in a container. I spray it with that, and also I feed with nettle feed. I don't spend all money out left, right, and centre buying nitrogen feeds and nothing like that. You know, your Kempack and all that. I just feed it with nitrogen with my nettles. I've got nettles, comfrey, and horse manure all in barrels, and that's all I feed. But my cabbages, all I do is feed with nettle feed. Okay, Mick. This is my giant Swede. It's big there, but it's twice as big now than when I showed Mick. They're absolutely massive. I've never grown anything so big in my life as these already. I've put them inside. I've had them outside for the last 2 years, but they seem to be attacked easy now. So I'll put them all inside now, and then we in there with some long carrots what I'm growing. So hopefully I'm doing all right, and I'll just feed that with my nettle feed, and it's taking off really well. Put a bit of micro fungi in the bottom of the hole, and that's it. And it's really doing well. I'm really happy with them. Okay, Mick. These are my leeks. This is how I got into showing really my leeks. The ones on the left, Yorkshire green. The ones down the middle, a bit of Yorkshire blue, what I had off Poor Kerry, and some Amelias. And the ones on the right, and the Amelias, which I growed last year for the first time, and I'm a lovely lake. They get to a nice size. I had it to about 16 inches round, but the shape of it's absolutely beautiful. I say it's crossed with a Yorkshire green, and I think it's the Cumbrian. I think they cross it with that, and it's a really nice leek. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to grow that all the time now. And I've got at home, I've got some leeks called Bradley, and that's off Alan Davison. That's really doing well. That is. I just put some Euphenone on the bed, mixed with superphosphate and potash. I had to do that for the leeks because they need it. They really need a good feed, they do. But other than that, that's it. And I feed with my nettle feed, and that's it. Okay, Mick. This is me joint. This is all me dahlias, and I've got some chrysanthemums around there, but dahlias, and it's just all showing. I show vegetables. I grow a lot of joint stuff, but I just like growing. If what I do is if I can't eat it, I don't grow it. I used to grow giant beetroot, but when you grow that, it tastes absolutely woody when you start to eat it. So I'll stop growing that. But all the rest of the stuff I eat, or if not, I'll give it away to my friends on the allotment and whatever, and they love it. Okay, mate.
Boston, cheers, Neil.
Okay, mate. I'm not going to be quick. First time I've ever done it, mate.
You've done well, mate. Boston. Steve Chambers, got a question for you. Okay, Steve.
What were the gas bottles, Neil, that were back at Greenhouse?
Yeah.
What were they for?
Them for my eating in the greenhouse.
Oh, right. So you don't use them for eating or anything like that?
No, mate. I'll just it's for my eating in the greenhouse.
Right.
I've also got I've cut one down, and I've got a fire in the other part of the shed.
Right, got you. That's what that wood were for under the bench.
Yeah.
How do you collect your seeds from your yellow flowers?
Well, I'll let them dry out. Once I get brown, I'll put a paper bag over the top.
Right.
And I'll just tie it up, and then once they all drop off, it's all in the bag then.
Lovely, thanks. I've got some Brussels that's doing the same.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, mate, no problem.
Nick Brake, you got your hand up? Nick? Jeffrey?
Hello.
Yeah.
Nick, am I on there now? Yes?
Yep. When do you start your cabbages? Your big cabbages?
My big cabbages about the 14th of December.
Oh, okay.
Some people started in November, but then as we got to go to more, I'll do them for more than not any day because I can't get up there, so I'll do them for more than so. It's about the 14th of December.
The reason I ask is I've started them sort of December, January, and it sort of I've grown them for 2 or 3 years. I don't know how big I grew one last year. Fairly big, but not as big as yours. And if I start them December, January, if I start them middle of February, they just seem to catch themselves up.
Yeah. It's a good job they started them early this year because we ain't been able to put them out really, have we?
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Jeffrey?
Yeah, hi. I'd just like to say it's nice to meet somebody that grows things to a big size with more natural products. Because a lot of people out here, when you see them on here or you ask the question, how have you ever grown before without super phosphates and everything, they just clamp up and said, eh. So it's really, really good to find somebody that grows more or less naturally. Thank you.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't. When I went to the show at Mansfield, and they all asked me how I got to it that size, and I says, "What you been feeding it? What you been feeding it?" I just tell them nettles. Some of them don't believe you.
Yeah, I believe you. I just do nettles, and what's it called? Like composting.
Yeah.
And I don't get the results like anybody else, but I prefer it that way. And it's good to find somebody that does the same. Thank you.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, I love nettle feed, I do.
Austin?
Neil, you've got some nice big greenhouses there. How many you got and what size are they?
I've got 2 plots.
Yeah.
I've got I've probably got 1, 2, 3, 21 feet by 12 feet. And the other ones are about 10 feet greenhouses.
Yeah.
And I've got about 5 of them.
What, 5 10-foots?
Yeah.
Blimey, how on earth do you manage all that lot, mate?
I'll spend all my time down there when I can. When the missus kicks me out and lets me to go down there.
Your mate that's a butcher, Colin.
Oh.
Neil.
Yeah.
Hang on.
What? Oh, sorry.
Neil, you've just had an Amazon delivery then from Colin.
Neil, what variety of the cabbage you grow?
Well, I had my what I started with. That was off Giant Veg.
Yeah.
Off the Giant Veg off Keith Forte.
Mm.
But they're called something beginning with an L. I can't pronounce the name of it.
Somewhere now. I'll Google it after.
Yeah, it starts with an L. It's Giant Veg. He sells them.
Okay.
Okay.
Cheers.
Green ones are Cornish giants.
Austin. All
right, mate. You said nearly about spraying with rhubarb. Is it the same principle as the comfrey leaves? Like with, in a barrel of water and then using the rhubarb spray then? Is it the same principle as you say with comfrey?
Oh, yeah. But I think with rhubarb, the smell is... You can see when you've got your butterflies around you, they take one smell and they go off. You know what I mean? I learned that off Terry Walton.
Yeah.
So how many rhubarb leaves would you steep in a barrel of water then? As many as you can?
As many as you can, yeah.
Yeah.
I usually put it in a dustbin and put the lid on because the smell of it's absolutely tremendous.
Oh.
What, is it same as comfrey? Because comfrey stinks.
Yeah, it's the same. Well, nettles do as well. If you put a load in down, them all smell down really.
Yeah.
I've got a mate who does it. He makes a liquid feed with comfrey and nettles separate. But he doesn't steep them in water. He just puts a house brick on top of the nettles.
Yeah.
All right.
You've got to tap at them, and there's no smell from it that way. Just another thought. If somebody moans about the smell.
Yeah.
I don't bother me. I don't like the neighbour next door to me, so I'll give her the smell.
Oh, you're all right then. You're the secretary, are you?
Chairman.
This
is a secretary.
Sue, you got a question? You got your hand up?
Yeah. Thank you. I do comfrey without a smell, by the way. I'll send you some pictures, Mick, and then I'll explain how I do it, and it's dead simple. But my question is, where do you get your Yorkshire green leeks from? The seeds?
I don't do seeds. I have plants.
Oh yeah, where do you get them from then?
I had them off Alan Davison. He's a bloke up north. He's one of the top growers in Leeks. I had them off him, and I will put them back to seed for this year. So if I've got some, if you want any like Amelias or anything like that, I'll have some spare plants, and I'll give you some if you want some.
Well, I'll try and find him myself, thanks. That's fine. Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem.
I'm quite a long way from
Where are you, Neil?
Sue,
thank you very much.
Sue.
Yeah.
I think as you might have some success with a chap called John Soulsby. He sells a lot of various leek varieties.
I think he stopped growing the Yorkshire green now, mate.
Has he? Oh,
yeah.
All right, okay. I know he does grow a lot of varieties, but he's a commercial man. You'll pay top dollar, but he does some good quality stuff.
Well,
thank you, Colin. Neil.
Yeah.
You spell Davidson with an E after the I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll Google him. And
yeah, he's a good grower. He's won a few shows, and well, he's a top grower, one of the top growers up north.
Thank you very
much. Where are you, Neil? Neil, where are you?
Where am I? Warsaw.
Warsaw?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any more questions for Neil?
You on the same plot as Muddy Boots?
No, he's Wolverhampton.
No, I am Muddy Boots. I'm the same one as Chris Evans, but He's one of the top growers around here, him and his dad.
Chris Evans, I think he's a dahlia bloke. Is he into dahlias?
No, he's a late one. He's a late one. He when he broke the British record about 3 years ago for the giant tomato.
All right.
He took it off Peter Glazebrook, but he's got it back since, hasn't he? So.
Cheers for that, Neil.
Okay, mate.
You have a mate. You've done well.
Okay.
Good
Cheers,
man.
Nick. Thank you.
Right, next one. My mate told me about this during the week. Slugzilla. Never heard of it. But anything, I think it's been out 3 years. I looked into it. And looking into it, this is Amazon, Colin, Amazon.
Yes, I'm making a note.
This is organic, eco-friendly, natural stuff, and it's basically seaweed from up Scotland or whatever. Where am I? Looking into this, let's see if this works. This is what it does. You obviously make a solution and spray your plants. That one on the left has been sprayed with it. Looks good, boss. Obviously the one on the right hasn't. Aphids as well. Just the chop on the left of it. So far, so good.
Was that you, mate? Oh, sorry.
That worked. This is something else I did. The news comes after the RHS said its tests suggest common home remedies to deter slugs. Slugs are ineffective. Meaning, if they were gardeners, they would now spend coffee grounds work to deter slugs. Obviously, when it rains, you've got to reapply it. But this stuff, I'm going to get in touch with them. I'm going to email them or ring them during next week. And because I know that they are looking into aphids as well, trying to find something that you can spray on or drench feed normal plants to keep aphids away. Once they've done that, then they're going to be millionaires within weeks. But something else again, and as it's seaweed based, which interests me anyway. Right, next one. National Glad Society, British Glad Society. This is on Facebook. If you remember last year, there was no shows again. And for those of you who are following on Facebook, the Gladdies, I'm doing an online show again this year, which is good for us a lot. And that which there, the classes, if you want to copy this down, it'll be on tomorrow on YouTube. You can then freeze it and copy it down. But these are the classes for every week that they'll do it. But it's, if you grow them and you got no shows, then you're still not wasting them. And I had quite a few goods last year, and I had some good surprises. The good thing about this, if you are a novice, there's one spot novice in there as well. So just have a go. Right, advertising my book. I've been in touch with Beach Grove. Can't do nothing. BBC regulations. Who else have I been in touch with? The Green Party, been in touch with them. They said good luck. They want to know. Right. If you remember, I put this on, I don't know, 2 months ago, something like that, when I first wanted a bag of spent mushroom compost for our trading sheds. I then found these, beaver. Now, we ran out of compost 2 weeks ago, and then luckily I had my last pallet, which I had on order 3 months ago, and that came last week, and that's nearly gone now. So people are running out, and he has told us it'll be another 3-4 months before we can get before he has any in, and I'm then on the waiting list again. So we're going to become stuck for a while. Somebody's got in touch with us. I'm starting a trading shed up, and I said the only thing you can do as well, because they, besides multi-purpose, besides spent mushroom compost, they also do bags of multi-purpose compost. So that's what they might have ordered it already. You can get the 100,000 litre one there, or you can go for the 1,400 litre bag, and that's $99.80. Now you can still get a 15% discount if you ring up for this. Don't forget they do loads of stuff. Just have a nose through. But anything you order, you can get another 15% off if you just mention the Compost King, and that's what I'm doing, multi-purpose compost. Now we've got our first committee meeting next Tuesday for the Colligate Garden Club, and this is myself, Gene and Mike, who run the trading sheds, same as on the Garden Club. I shall bring this up if we need to get compost again, because we can't get it by the pallets. The only thing is, you got to bag it up, but I'll bag everything else up anyway. It's just if you are stuck, you can still get it off them. And because I've helped them out, they've got that many people going off them, I managed to get me a bag for 50 quid. Got my own little discount. Perks of the job, boss. Right, sweet corn. This needs potting on. This will be the last potting on now, because I've got no more pots deeper than that size. Nice white root structure there, Colin, and he's going in the hole.
Nice.
Using no mycorrhizal fungi yet, because I don't want to run out of room in the greenhouse. Nice and straight, upright. And then the little chaps that was in the red drinking cups, they will come out of there and fill their pots. I've just emptied there. As you can see, he should have been potted on earlier. I'll draw the bottom on before the roots started going straight the way down. If they are in this position, then I will open those thick roots up. Obviously, slowly, so I don't want to break them or nothing. But I don't want them. If I potted him straight on like that, them roots would carry on doing what they're doing. If you open them up, all you're doing is open them out. Nature. Right, top of the garden, I've got my branch leeks in the background and intermediate leeks in the foreground. The collars on these are 10-inch. That is the only collar they will ever have. The collars on the back for my branch leeks will get moved on when they need it. So I'm taking the collars off these. This is usually every week. Nick, got your hand up, mate. Go on. Nick.
Your branch leeks, Mick. What size collars you got on them?
Probably 17-inch now, 17.5.
And how high do you go?
I've got, they'll probably go, then we'll have another 3 inches on top of them. The next one up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on 17 now. They've reached the top, and I'm thinking about going 19, 20. What do you reckon?
Yeah. It's all according to your veil is on your flags. If it's up here somewhere, then you've got it.
Yeah. It's at the button where your yellow piece is. It's on the button there. If they're 17 inches, the button's at the top, so they need to go up. Got no shows. I just wanted to push them a little bit.
Don't forget blanch leeks. It's the blanch I'm looking for, the length.
Yeah.
So I've got my meat on them before I put the collars on. Exactly the same as the intermediates. So now all I want to do is draw them up.
Yep.
But a judge is looking for the length of blanch.
Cool, thank you.
Obviously, because they're blanch leeks. So it's usually every week, 10 days, I strip these down. Any old flags and leaves are taken off. As you can see, there's one there. He's dying off. So I'm going to take him off. That's a closer view. But I take the saw straight away down to the bottom, down to the roots. Like you always take them off there. The bottom of that flag might still be on the bottom. So if I take it right down to, like if I go any lower there, there'll be roots underneath. So I'm going to take all this off as well. Nice and clean, nice and straight. That's what I want. Also, I want these, like there's the veil of the next one, because that one is split. If you've got a good eyesight, you can see that flag is split the other side. So the veil of that one is where the leaf joins there. Now I want 3 of these identical, meaning, so what I'm doing, if that's 8 inches from that veil down to the base, I want the others near enough the same as well. So that flag has got to come off, then that one will be very similar, and also that one will be similar. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the IS1, cleaning him, and then I'm going to look at the rest of them, looking at them. So I couldn't do this very well, obviously, because I've got one hand holding the bloody camera. But it's approximately 7 inches from the veil down to the soil. So then I'll look at the rest of them. And he's higher, he's about 8, 7. Oh, he's about 7 on there, so I'm going to take that one off. So I did that all the way along, so you know roughly at the end, because I'm being kept near enough identical as you're going along. Don't forget, I only want 3 out of all these 5. So that's what I'll do. Nick, yes, mate?
You getting any spraying at all?
Yes.
What are you using, Mick?
Last week I used neem oil for a change.
Okay. What? Every week, 10 days?
No, it's like 10 days, yeah.
Yeah, cheers.
I'll catch you later.
Okay.
Right, this is where am I? Avocado. This is what Ben bought home when he was on for the COVID crap, when just before that started. He bought an avocado and he started this off. While he was here, obviously left it when he legged it home. He's got one back at his place, and he said it's time to start potting them on. So I took him in the greenhouse, took the old spikes out, put him where I want it, and then fill the pot up with the compost with the other end. Easiest way I can do it. That's what the chap looks like now. I took him outside, waved him, and that's Ben. He sent me the photo this afternoon of his at home. But it's good for the kids. If you've got grandkids or whatever, give them something to do, to look after. Keeps them occupied for 3 or more months. Well, not for that bloody long, but you know what I mean. Right, well, we get a bit of interval in between the rain, and it is dry. The good thing with the last week, well, before the first 2 days we've just had, in between the showers, when the sun did come out, it was red hot. Within a couple of hours, it dried the grass, and I could cut it just before the heavens open again. So did that. 3 onions I had off Mark down the plot, well, from his back garden anyway. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had none. Need potting on, next pot size up, and the wire, which obviously Mark had put on, I'll cut him off and put a green stick cane in, just to hold him upright. I want him to be a nice shape. That cane is then pushed right down to the bottom of the pot, and there's 2 onion clips on. Taken outside, waited. Jeffrey, our second speaker. You ready, mate?
Everybody.
Jeffrey is from Ostend. Before you come in, Jeffrey, when I was in the mob, this is in my early days, went to Ostend, and as they didn't sell beer, only lager, which we didn't drink, we ended up using drinking Pernod and ice. Gordon Bennett. And what did I let them buy me for Christmas? A bottle of Pernod. I ain't opened it yet, I dare not. But I love that. Jeffrey, all yours, mate.
Hi, everybody. It's just an update that Mick asked me to do. So this, where the pots are now, they're the gladioli I put in. Each pot is numbered so I know which variety is in there. There's 20 varieties. There's 22 pots, but the rest I put in 2 other pots. There are 20 varieties. And I put them there in with a begonia, a trailing begonia, and the sweet pea at the back so they can climb a bit on the fence. That is the place where I used to have the tulips. with the viola in and the narcissi for the winter. I put them at the back of the plot now so they can still grow a bit, put energy into the bulbs, and so I can save the seed of the viola, because I asked the question last week what to do with them, how to sow them, plant them, keep them going. So I'm going to see how long I can keep the viola going, and you'll see them in one of the next pictures. Yes, Mike. If you look along, you'll see pots buried into the ground. That is where the tulips were. And the system I use, because we have lots of voles there, water voles, and they love eating bulbs for some reason, any bulbs, alliums, onions, anything that's remotely like a bulb, they eat. They even eat carrots from if you pull a big carrot, I have the heavyweight carrots as well last year. So I overwintered 4 of them to get the seeds, and all was good till about February. And then I sort of saw them dying off. Said, I'll just have a look if they need water or something. And when I pulled it out, it was perfectly good carrot. And when you turned it over, it had been eaten, the whole core of it, not the outside, but the core of it was eaten all the way up to the green. And it's just foals, and we can't get rid of them. You can't catch them. It's just unbelievable. You can't put any poison down for them. So what I do is I plant my dahlias in the pots, sink the pots so they can keep reasonably cool instead of the blazing sun on top of them. So these are, in every pot, are the dahlias I've sown from seed. The seeds I gave to Mick to distribute, if anybody has.
Yeah.
There's 2 dahlias in there. Then in front of the pot is a big begonia, really, what's it called, a double mix begonia. And then alongside I've got taggets and a little, what's called snowcap. It's something that covers the ground a little bit with snowy-like flowers. Yes, Mick. So these are the dahlias I grew from seed just before I put them on, just to show you the root structure. It's okay. Yeah, Mick. These are them in the greenhouse before I planted them out, and as well the lupins. But I don't know if the lupins will give me flowers this year. I think it's only going to be next year. I think they need a year to grow. Yeah, Mick. This is the potatoes. You remember the TPS I sowed? Well, of all of them, 11 came out. So this is how I plant them. I dig a trench, put the buckets in. The buckets are bottomless, so they can get the goodness from the ground. But these are just I fill them up again, put the plant in, so I know which plant is which variety. Okay, Mick. So see, these are the TPS I sowed. That's TPS, I think it's number 2 or something. But I've got 11 in total. So I just bung them in the hole, water them, and keep them there. Yeah, Mick. See, that's just how I plant them. I just grow them on like any other potatoes. I leave a little divot so I can put some soil on top of them. And then when they start to really grow and you see like a little potato coming out on top of the earth, then you just earth them up. It doesn't matter, just do like you do with normal potatoes. Yes, Mick. This is an old washing pole I got from somebody, a washing rack. So I said, okay, I'll use this. I've got spare sweet peas. Let's have a go. So I put it into the ground, fastened it with the cables, then put sweet peas around. So just going to see what happens. Yeah, Mick. This is what is still going strong in the garden even today. These are tulips. The size of them is phenomenal. The heads, the flowers, they're nothing special. I just got them from the Lidl, but they really were worth their money. I think it was in Belgium money €1.50 for a pack of 15, so that's maybe £2. No, not £2 yet. Let's say £1.80.
And £1.30 actually.
Or £1.30. Yeah.
35.
That's the price, so you can see they're really good. They just keep going. They're still going today. Okay. And those tulips at the back, at the green, at the polytunnel, I cut off their heads today because there were only 5 left. But the others, they just keep going. So that's the system with the buckets again. They were placed in there before I planted the dahlias. Yeah, Mick. And that's the plot seen from one perspective. I'm standing in the other plot and just holding the camera as high as I can to show you what's going on in the plot there. So on the left you have the tulips where I cut off the heads today. There's my spare dahlias and spare lupins were planted there. The other tulips on the far left are still going. And then they are the pots before I took them out, the others, but they're all out now. And they're all going good. And in the first, that's my bike. And then you can see strawberries, shallots, onions. I don't know what's the beets. But you'll see them all in pictures normally. Carrots over there. First gains for the runner beans. So yes, Mick. No, this is for Jerry. That's the apple tree from Aldi I told you about.
Oh yes, I remember it well.
So
I don't remember it, but I remember you telling me.
That's going like that now. So I'll train it like this, keep it short to the stem and see what happens.
Keep the growth to the bottom, cut the growth to the very bottom out. Yeah. Is that the plant behind the stem, or is that where the arrow is? That branches? That's branches, yeah. Cut them off to the stem. Leave the clear stem up to where your arrow is there. Yeah, let the bottom have the clear stem. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, just help. You don't want low-lying fruit anyway.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Mick?
And you should stake it. You should put a stake on it.
I put it on the trellis.
Of course.
Yeah. This is just a comfrey patch. It's in front of the entrance, in front of a water barrel, in front of bags of compost that has been sifted already for next year for carrots. And then the plastic and the water butt. Yeah. This is me trying to get long carrots and long parsnips. It's going reasonably well at the moment. They've all been thinned down to 2. So we're going to thin them out next week, all to 1, the carrots. But the parsnips are already down to 1 in each pipe. And on the left, the barrel with all the pipes is the reserve pipes for next year. But they need to be cut in half, lengthwise, so I can tape them up and get the carrot out. Because with some of them, I think they'll be okay, but with some of them, I think I'm going to have trouble getting the carrot out. And as you can see, the top 2, the 2 black ones and the 1 gray one in the first barrel have been attacked by slugs. So I took out the old slug pellets and scattered a hell of a lot of them. Yeah, Jerry, for you again, Quince.
Oh, yes, that's all right, isn't it? Looking good.
Yeah, it's the flowers came off today, but I don't know if I need a second tree to fertilize them.
No, all quinces that we know are self-fertile, so you don't.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Looking good. Flowering well.
Yep. Thank you, Mick. These are onions. They've gone really quickly this week because that's how I decided to keep the leaves in check, keep them upright. And as you can see, the stick, I've got stick left over above the nets. And that's just some ordinary garden, what do you call it, mesh, but the hard ones. I said, I'll try this. I've got this lying around. So I took them, didn't pot them on, sprinkled on some remin, poked it in a little bit. I said, well, I'll see what I do with them. So I put them back in the greenhouse. And today, actually,
I had to put them into the greenhouse, into the soil itself. And I took the stick and it was too short. So the net was moved up totally towards the stick and they just went all above. They're about half a meter tall now, the leaves. Very good in color, everything nice, except two of them have got little yellow tip, but I don't know what it is. But these are going, for my expectation, really good. Yeah, mate. Now, these are two leeks, and they were kind of doing okay, but today they kind of started twisting the leaves, and the bottom is kind of loose, the leaves. So I'm thinking alien miner. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking it. It's kind of the leaves at the stem, where it should be branching later on, are getting like too wide for the leek it is. They're still okay, but it's just something is not right, and I don't know what. I've taken a picture to send to Mick tomorrow, so he can have a look. But see the twisting leaves?
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. I'm thinking leaf miner, allium leaf miner. But the roots are okay, they're nice and wide. This is for the big spuds, but this is, I don't think it's going to happen with this one because these are ordinary potatoes from the supermarket. I just bung them in. There should be, what's it called? Artemis, which is a flowery potato, but that's just to show you how you can see how many potatoes there are, how you can pinch them out, and then put the plant back into the ground. So that one can be left, and there's two more there coming out. So the other two will be pinched out, so I can get the biggest potato I can from this one. It's just a bit of fun. Yeah, mate. This is a 1 meter by 1 meter square box. It's 2 foot high, and I decided to plant them because I like sweet potatoes, and they need a bit of depth to grow, and it's pure clay under there. So I said I'll build it 2 foot high. So what you can see in there on 3 corners, the left, the furthest, and the right corner, are sweet potatoes. I grew from the slips you saw before. Then on the near end is a courgette plant. So I say it can trail over the sides a bit. Then you've got 3 sticks in there with sweet peas. And in the middle, yeah, that is 1 sunflower and 1 corn. I like to grow them together so they can grow up together, support each other a bit. But also in the middle in front, there is a begonia, trailing begonia. So it should give a little bit of color. And I've also planted 2 or 3 of those white carpet things that can trail over the side of it. Yes, Mick. This is the first. Well, if you look at that one, on the right hand side is my bicycle. Then I have the tubs up top from Lidl and from Aldi, the flower buckets. And these are the strawberries. They're called Ostara, and it's a kind of strawberry that keeps on going. But the longer they keep going, the smaller the fruits gets during the year. So you end up with little small strawberries, but very good for jam. Yeah, Vic. These are the multi-sown onions. I've done this for the first time. I've never done it before. There are four onions in every clump. They're called Bedfordshire Champions because I really like them because they store very, very well. I've got them here now. There's no sign of rot. Not a single one rotted. Not a single one got any fungus or started to stink. And I can use them. They're still very, very hard. But they have kind of, instead of one tough skin on there, there's about 3 of them on there. And they're really, the best onions that I can find for storing. And on the left-hand side of that, of the bed, you can see 3 rows of onions. And then right where your arrow is, Mick, there's a little line of onions. And they were sown the same day as those. And they're Alicia Gray. So for Alicia Gray, they're not doing all that good.
Mm.
And the others, exactly the same day sown, but the Alicia Gray, no. Not even in the greenhouse, the Alicia Gray are doing good. These are just romping away. This is the next bed. And on the front, the bottom of the page, there's elephant garlic. And there's not one spot of rust on there. They're going great. They've got seed heads today because the seed heads are poking through the mesh today, so I pushed them back. Then on my shallots, they're called Jersey, Jerome or something.
Yeah.
I love them. I prefer them to onions, like in salads and everything. I just pop them in and let them do their thing. And at the back, I've got ordinary garlic from the same place I got the elephant garlic from Isle of Wight, from the garlic farm. And that's rust on there, and a reasonable amount of it. And I don't know what to do about it. It's every year I've got rust, and it's kind of a vicious circle. The rust that gets onto the leeks comes from the winter leeks, goes onto the on the garlic, and from the garlic it goes on the summer leeks, and from the summer leeks it gets onto the winter leeks, and from the winter leeks it gets onto the garlic again. And the whole allotment of everybody's allotment is the same, and we can't get rid of it. So we're trying to find something we can spray, and we've always said we'll keep it natural, organic, no problem. And now we've all just said no more. That's it.
Have a look for something called bumper.
Bumper?
Bumper.
Wait till the end, Colin, please.
That's okay. I'll have a look for bumper on the internet then. And we're trying to get rid of it, but as you can see with the nets on top, I've got no sign of allium leaf miner. And normally last year it was all already riddled with it. But is it because of the mesh on top, or is it because it's been colder and the allium leaf miner isn't out yet? We'll see. I don't know yet. Okay, Mick. Experiment. There are 3 tomato plants, 2 along the right-hand side, and 1 just tucked behind the plants in there. And the 2 that you can see in front are 2 beefsteak tomatoes, and that's just the ordinary kind. They're Shirley's. And the other one, that's a bit more on the other hoop, is what's it called? Crimson Crush. It should be resistant to blight. So I think it's ideal to test them outside and just say, do what you want, and I'll see. If Crimson Crush really is resistant, then next year it's all going to be Crimson Crush, inside and out, because we get blight from the potatoes spreading around there anytime. Okay, Mick. This I harvested today. This is spinach, sown 1st of February, plant in there, and it's been growing, but today it started bolting, so I said, okay, everything out. And I've actually got the bag here of spinach. I'll show you in a minute. And in front are leeks, winter leeks. The 2 clumps are the type called below 0, and 3 clumps are the ones called, I've forgotten it now, Musselburgh. So I'm going to try which one gets best results for the winter, because if we buy the leeks in July, we plant them out July, August after the potatoes, like tradition says. But you don't get the size on them. You get them to about, I don't know, about 3 inches in diameter, and they're really not worth eating. They're good for soups and everything, but for eating, no. We like big leeks here in Belgium, so we eat a lot of them. But so I said, okay, I'm going to sow them again, plant them out myself. So I think next week or the week after, they're going out on the place they need to be for the rest of the year. So I'm quite happy with the thickness they are. They're a bit thicker than a pencil, but I also cut off the tops every 2 weeks, every fortnight. I just go with a scissor, go, and the tops get off, and they kind of stunt their growth for a bit. They thicken up a bit. Yes, Mick? See, you can see the leeks. They're reasonable size. For the time of year, they're reasonable size, I think. Yeah. Right, experiment again. If you remember, in December I sowed peas, hoping I'd get a crop of them before I put my tomatoes in. And they were all growing up the sticks where the tomatoes should be, the spirals you could see there. But didn't work. I didn't get any peas, and tomatoes needed to be planted out. So I planted out my tomatoes and said, I'll just leave one bunch of peas there and see what happens. And look, I've got peas. This week I harvested and ate them. They weren't much, but they're good size, good quality. And what I like about these purple kinds, they're called blow shocker. They're much easier to spot when you pick them. Because I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there are 6 green peas on there. And you can't nearly see them. But the purples one, they're really, see, on the right-hand side? No, right-hand side, mate. Yeah, just below the, above the watering can, yeah. So that's why I like to grow blow shocker. The blow shocker is a very tall variety. So next year I'm going to try a smaller variety in there that's more frost tolerant and see if I can get it going there. Then on the right hand side of the tunnel you can see the chili plants right at the back, Mick. Yeah, you can see them there. So they're going good. They've got actually open flowers today. And then you have the dahlias that I grew, that I put outside. On the left, you've got the strawberries. In the little blue box are the pots with the sunflowers and the corn. And then that's something that destroyed in the bucket. There's parsley, flat leaf parsley, but it just said, I'm not growing here. But the other parsley and the salad onions, they're doing good. In front of the 2 pipes you can see there is a bucket of sweet peas. I like to get flowers into the greenhouse or polytunnel just to attract the bees for pollination, for better pollination. But next year I'm going to put wallflowers in there so they can be even earlier. But I really don't have any problem with bees or no bees because the strawberries, they're all pollinated, they're all going good. So it should be okay. Yeah, Mick? See, strawberries. And they taste really, really sweet. But I didn't want to put too much soil in there, so the plank wouldn't go and break. But I'm paying the price for it now because every day they need water. And if I water them too much at a time, it all runs out. And the next day you have to do it again. So today I cheated. You know the kind of debris I have to make a hole for flower bulbs or planting something? Mm-hmm. So I put the dibber in there, right next to the roots. And I got some, we call them water crystal here. They're like little white grains. You put them in the hole, you top up with water, and they become a kind of gel. So I use them, water them well, and then next to the root, they kind of make a little reservoir. If it hasn't got any water, if you miss a day or they get too thirsty, they take the water from the crystals. So when you water it again, the crystals swell up again. And I've done that in the past with plants outside as well in the dry years. Let's say 3-4 years we've had that drought. Next to every plant, I put a dibber, make a hole, put water crystals in there, water it well, cover it up, and the plant gets its nutrients and water from in the crystals. It's a kind of cheat, but works very well. But not with onions. Yeah, Mick? Yeah, the rim in the rock dust. I got this from Jen. She said, try it. I said, okay. But I found it was kind of, for the amount of plants I had, that little bag was kind of not enough. So I said, if I can get it finer, then I can distribute it more powdery with my fingers. So I did. Yeah, Mick, next picture. Yeah, that's the finest I could get it. And it was just in one of those little blender things I make shakes with, smoothies with, and drinkies. I love ginger, so I do ginger, lemon, water, and then drink that as a refresher instead of iced tea or something in the summer. I do that. So I tried it, and that's the finest I can get it. And then I put it on a few products, on onions, leeks, everything. So Jen knows where they are in the garden, and she can follow it up now. Okay, Mick. This is the lettuce grown in between the tomatoes I put in. And the long pipes, I'll show you in a minute what they are. Yeah, Mick? Lucky.
I'm obviously does, so that's all right.
That's attempt to get a very long parsnip and attempt to get a very long carrot. So I don't know if they'll get about 30 centimeters long, or if they'll get the length of the pipe, which would be great, but I kind of have my doubts. But I said, well, why not? It's fun. So I cut out that little place of the pipe, filled it up, then duct taped the back of the pipe. Why? Because the soil stops where the plants enter the pipe. And from the plant to the back of the pipe where the duct tape is like a hollow. So I fill this up with water every time I enter the greenhouse. There's a water can there, and I have water butts in the greenhouse. So I just go, oh, okay, I'm passing the carrot and the parsnip, water it. So I fill up the whole thing and let it drain down. And every single time I enter the greenhouse, if I go in there 20 times a day to get a packet of seeds or a shovel or anything, up, top it up. So I'm hoping that it gets drenched all the way down. And at the bottom of there, it's a flower pot, but like instead of just putting it on there, I put it on inside out. So the flower pot is actually shoved up into the tube. And the moment water comes out of there, I know I will have succeeded in watering the whole thing. So that's kind of another experiment. Yeah, Mick? Right.
Brilliant, Jeffrey.
Good, Jeff.
Right, first
very good.
Leeks, when you mentioned the rust earlier on,
yeah,
that was a problem with us when we first started with especially exhibiting leeks. Obviously, when you enter them, you got to be clean as a whistle.
Yeah.
And the first thing, obviously, if you try to grow organic and you don't use baddies, what we used to do, and I got away with it for the first year, was as soon as you see the rust spore on a leek, you cover it in Vaseline or cooking oil, anything like that.
Mm.
And all you're doing is covering that spore, and it can't build. You know, it just keeps growing, doesn't it, the rust spore?
Yeah.
And it just stops it. It's worth a go. But there is and that one about eating leeks, I do the mussel butters. Now mine are in pots about the same size. Mine will be pencil thickness. And I grow them for our bring and buy, which is usually the first Thursday in June. And that's when I plant mine out as well.
Oh, nice.
So you get a good bit of meat on them for Christmas.
Good.
Your spray for your rust, Jeffrey. The exhibition leek growers use Bumper. It's been recommended to me by John Salisbury. It's expensive, but it does work. Yeah. And also, I believe the chrysanth growers use something called Signum, which is a powder. You can get Signum off a chap called John Peace, who is a chrysanth grower. If you look him up, he'll sell you some, a small packet for, I don't know how much you charge, £5 or £10, but it will last you a couple of seasons.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody got any questions for Jeffrey? Nick, got your hand up?
Yeah, just a quick one. Going back on quite a few slides on your leeks and your onions, I'd say your leeks are spot on. I don't think there's an issue with those.
No, I don't know. See,
No.
I've had them before, but they've never curled their leaves before, and that's what's kind of.
They look clean as a whistle to me.
Isn't a twisted leaf a sign of good growth, Nick?
Yeah. When they're twisting, they're flying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you get twisted leaves, they're producing growth. That's what I always think. You don't get it with the onions so much, but leeks, especially, get it early season.
Okay, I'll note that down.
If it's allium leaf miner, it's more deforming than a twisted leaf.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't got leaf miner on those, I'd say they're okay.
I've had allium leaf miner before, but on onions. And the leeks, they don't kind of get distorted from them, but the onions kind of go, whoa, unbelievable.
Yeah, they will. They'll twist and go, the onions. Yeah. But you know it soon enough in the season if you've got it or not. You certainly haven't got it on your onions or leeks. I'd leave them alone if I were you.
Okay, thank you.
Nick?
It is about now, though.
Nick?
Yeah?
What's your remedy for rust if you ever come up?
Yeah, I've used Bumper.
Bumper?
I've got Bumper. Although I haven't had any rust for 5 years.
Yeah.
I had it in a real bad spring, a real damp coming out of winter into spring where it was really hot and humid. Suffered with rust, couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
No, here we have it every year and every plot has it. There's 135 plots and every plot has it every year.
Yeah, it's airborne. It's airborne.
It's even been on the, what are they called? Like it's like an allium. It's an allium.
Yeah, on your alliums.
Yeah, but the ones with the flowers on, like you could buy the bulbs for the flower heads.
Oh yeah,
purple ones.
Yeah.
It's even been on that.
I haven't seen any rust for about 4 or 5 years, and if you look on the Facebook pages, there's very few people that get it.
Now, if anybody needs any, just let me know.
You're selling it, are you?
I'll just show you the spinach of today. Hang on.
Love it. Brilliant.
Veg.
Boston.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, nice.
I've got a whole bag.
What are you going to do with all that?
He's going to post it tomorrow.
Feed these rabbits.
Yeah, I love spinach. Me.
Excellent.
Amazon.
So does Popeye.
I wish I looked like Popeye.
Any more questions for Jeffrey?
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Jeffrey, you're a star. Cheers, my mate.
Well, thanks, Jeffrey.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Good man. Right, molasses. I use these for my compost tea. I'm going to start doing this up again very soon, as soon as I can really fit it in. But just showing you one there. Some of the women who do cooking, or even if the gents do the cooking, some of the old ones used to use this regular. It's basically sugars. But that's to kickstart the sugars for the compost tea. As you can see, it's potassium, calcium, iron. In Jamaica, rum is made from molasses. Exactly the same thing. The thick sticky liquid left over once the sugar cane juice has been boiled and the sugar crystals removed. When we was in Jamaica, obviously we had to go and look around Appleton's rum factory, and we saw this being made. We saw this in a vat, and we smelt it. I thought we've smelt that before, and then we clicked on. It is the molasses. But this is an alternative feed as well. So this is a new feed which I'd give last week to everything in the greenhouse, tunnel, and on the plot. So something else if you want to think about it. So then the pot leeks in the tunnel back of the garden, I'll give them a nice feed as well. Right, if there's anybody local and they want any taters, they've got a bit of land or plant out, I've got these spare. Got nice little stumpy dark green shoots on. If anybody wants them, you can have them. Right, me black-eyed Susies. You've got to get the fork, smallest fork you can borrow from the kitchen, right underneath because the roots do go down deep. As you can see there. If you do snap a root off, it's still going to grow, but all you're going to do to this plant, same as any other plant, is give it a checking growth because you chopped his bloody finger off. So the more roots you can get out without interference, the better. As you can see, that one there has got 3 nice long roots on him. Plastic drinking cups again, exactly the same again. I'm holding the plant at the height and where I want him, obviously right in the middle of the pot. And with my other hand, I bung the mixture of vermiculite and compost in there. The rest of the seeds that haven't come through or have just started, that is put back into the propagator and watered again. So them are the ones I've just taken out or transplanted and potted on. Right, this been potted on, that's been 4 days and the roots are coming out straight away. Just don't forget this is still in the cold end of the greenhouse, but on a warm day, obviously the door's wide open and the vents are open, but it just shows you how much it is warming up. If you remember last week, I did some basil and I tried these little blocks as well. And you see them just coming through there as the same as normal multi-purpose compost with the vermiculite on. So them are coming through. Right, these are more of singular beauty. My last lot of gladiolus of them going out. And these are my prims, which I'd like, which are going in these pots here. That's a better photo on it. So the vermiculite underneath, then my gladiolus go in, i.e. 1 shoot in the middle, nearest to the middle, strongest shoot. Then I filled up, and the name and the date they're put in. Right, these are the last, so there's 6 to go in here. There's 2, 4, 6 ready there. This is my new bed. Holes dug out, verm in the bottom. Go all the way along till it's full. Right, if you remember who've been watching this, I had this out the skip. Angie went down to Angie's place, help her out a bit. And he was throwing this away, and I ran the back for yolks. I thought, I'm going to bloody use that. But this is perfect. Now, I'm thinking of getting more of these down the bottom of the garden as well. So if anybody sees these about anywhere on the Amazon, Colin.
What are they actually? What are they made of, Mick?
It's like a moulded plastic thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can pick them up easily enough. But I've had a quick nose, but I caution nothing about.
That'd last for years, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's why I like them.
Yeah.
Them a good width as well, and they don't take much room, too much room of a pathway. But I need to, because down the bottom there where I've got the space, I want to utilise it.
Yeah.
But
and they're about 4 foot long, are they?
Yeah, 4 or 5 foot.
Yeah, that's just a job,
Yeah, say 5 foot, might be 6 foot actually.
3 or 4 of them would be suit you well, yeah.
And they're going to last. That's the best thing about it.
Yeah.
Right, first lot of gladiolus I put in, I left them clear. Then the second lot I put vermiculite on the top of them. This is stop them drying out. Don't forget they're under cover, just in case we get outside but under cover, in case we still get a bloody frost. Now we had a bit of a frost last night. So these 4 that I've just done, my last of my prims, I'm going to try them with a bit of my straw, like I do on my raised beds. Just another little trial. Obviously save me on my vermiculite. Give them a good soaking. Have a look at my mushroom tray, Poland. The last one was from Ireland. So those 2 are our suppliers. Right, back to my 20 quid little strimmer. So the white strimming cable there, that's what was in it. Obviously they're not going to give you the best cable. And you can see it's a good thickness more than what the white one is, because that was busting too much on me. So I bunged that one in, and I managed to go all the way up with the strimmer, and it didn't even strap once. In fact, I went all the way around. So it's the dogs. Best 20 quid I've spent for a couple of weeks. So that works. Who's this? This is Davey. Our next speaker. Another new one. Dave from Chesterfield. We've been mates a while now. He's a good lad.
Can you hear me, mate?
Yes, all yours, Dave.
Right. Okay, thank you, mate. This is where I live. Probably most of you might have heard of the Crooked Spire at Chesterfield. It's a lovely place, but that's very unusual, the Crooked Spire. Go on, mate. All my life, up to the pitch shooting, I've been a miner. My father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and all my uncles were miners, and most of them had allotments. And around the area where I lived, there was about 6 pits, and there are a lot of allotment sites, which quite a lot's gone now. But every miner seemed to have an allotment to grow his veg, potatoes and whatever, to subsidise for his family. So I followed suit, and I liked having an allotment. But about a few years back, a friend of mine was the head gardener at Ringwood Hall, which is a hotel across from where I live. And they had new owners, and wanted to construct a kitchen garden. And they asked me if I'd go across there a few years back now and start to set up a kitchen garden so the produce could be grown. This is one of the pictures of the garden. It's a lovely place because it's all wall round, and we made I hope we made a good job of it. Go on, mate, carry on. This just shows where I planted it all out and got it running, and the veg then was being harvested to go to the restaurant part of the hotel, and it was also for people to have a walk round, which was about 2 or 3 acres of grounds with it, and people like walking round, and it turned out really well. So I'm very pleased with that, how we carried on with that. This, I don't know, probably some of you do this, but they wanted me to grow marrows. Now, I always grow my marrows up a frame. The reason being, you can see a marrow at the bottom, which is growing. And what this does, it stops them having a flat bottom to them, probably yellow underneath, and they ripen all the way around. It is a cracking way to grow a marrow. This one is light and bell, which you can grow to about, if we can grow large, but we used to stop it around about 15 to 16 inch, which the chefs wanted it. Just to split it in half, scrape it out, put mince in, wood in and whatnot, put it in oven, and they used to serve that. Well, mate, I think that shows it as it's sung down. And it's, I don't think it's a cracking way of growing marrows to get a good quality marrow. Right, mate?
Yeah.
This is the greenhouses. We had to repair the greenhouse and get it going. And these are the tomatoes, what I was growing there for them to go to the restaurant. Right, mate? I set another area up to grow cucumbers. I think I set about 10 along there. Well, mate. And this is them growing up the frame, which I like to grow them this way. Right, mate. And this is what we get off. I think out of the 10 plants I grew in there, we had over 300 cucumbers off that year. So this is how we're collecting them. We go around every day picking cucumbers. Well, mate. We also wanted me to set up round the kitchen garden to grow flowers as cut flowers, to also put in the restaurant part around the buildings. Well, mate. So this was to set up an area in the kitchen garden to create flowers for the hotel. Well, mate. Similar. These are all for being cut to ground. I used to have to do a presentation in the restaurant of the produce I was growing in the kitchen garden. So now and again, I used to have to set a table up and put various things out, what I grew in the garden, which people like to see anyway. Well, mate. You were mentioned, I think, last week, that the pests we get nowadays are far worse than what we used to have a few years back. I know this is true on my allotments, but I'll just show you some pictures how we used to grow. Go on, mate. Everything we never covered, everything we grew on the allotments and everybody else on, we never had to cover anything. Go on, mate. As you can see, everything was open, the cabbages and everything, and we never seemed to be bothered quite a lot with pests. Odd things, but not an awful lot. Go on, mate. So everything nice and clean, and we didn't have a lot of problems. Go on, mate. And again, mate. I'd say, I also like to grow marigolds. I'll talk about them. Go on, mate. And again. Go on, mate. Go on. This is the allotment site I'm on. This is looking up the allotment. It's a 7-acre site. There's 3 fields to it. This is the middle field, which I'm on, the B field. There's one of the coppice at the top. There's another field topside, and below me, there's another field where they're allowed to keep poultry on there, chickens on there, and the beehives. But this middle field is just solely for growing veg. Well, mate. This is what I have to do now. I have to net up, and I've made an area which is completely covered to grow all my brassicas in, because of the problems we do now get with pests. Well, mate. And these are big greens. I'm hoping to be planting out this week under that netting, hopefully weather permitting. Well, mate. We have a lot of trouble for the last 2 or 3 years with badgers. The top of our field has said there was a coppice, there's a badger setting there, and on the bottom field there's a badger set there. And we've all had a lot of problems with them coming on, especially sweet corn. They decimated the whole allotment, taking the sweet corn. Potatoes, what had been earthed up, they've dug into them. So I've ended up having to net all the way around the part of my allotment. Oh, mate. And again, mate. And again. Up at the top of my allotment, that's I did that 2 years ago. I built that for my strawberries, and I found it's brilliant. You're not bending down up floor. They're all nice and clean. And I think, and then over the hoops, I just put netting on to stop the birds later on getting at them. But I found that's a very good way of growing them. Go on, mate. I also grow flowers as well. I love growing flowers. My granddad were a very big flower man, and I think I promised to God he's off him. But me, I like growing sweet pea. I just mentioned at the back of the allotment there, where the tins are and the hedge. Years ago, that was completely the hedge just above it, mate. That was there's a public footpath on the side of that, and it was wide open, and I used to get all sorts chucked across, even bags of dog milk, all sorts chucked across there. So I ended up talking to a friend of mine who was a park ranger, and he put me in touch with the Woodland Trust, and I explained to him I wanted to do a hedge. So they provided me with all the whips. There's blackthorn, hawthorn, hazel, dog rows. And they gave me all the whips. They were about 18 each, 2 foot high, and probably as thick as a pencil when I got them. Just a few, and I planted all the way up the edge, all the way up the side of the allotment. And it's just from that pitch went down the allotment. It looks lovely now, and I don't have no more trouble. Go on, mate. I like glowing dahlias as well. You can see the hedge better there at the top. I like growing dahlias. I also use a solar panel to try and keep the tunnel a little bit cooler. This was a year or two back when I talked to Mick. I know Mick uses them, and he explained how good they were, and I got one myself, and I think they're very good. Go on, Mick. Like I say, dahlias, well, that's the green nectar. I have to grow all my greens under. Go on, mate. I grow roses as well. I have a nice little rose bed, which, as you can see, go on, mate. And again. And again. I grow gladiolus as well. I know Mick loves growing gladies, but I'm probably not up to his standard, but I do like growing them. Go on, mate. And again. Also, it's a good thing for my wife because we bring in cut flowers home, it gets an extra tater on my dinner. So I'm very happy with that. These are last year's tomatoes. I mentioned marigolds. I always put a row of marigolds with my tomatoes. The one I'd recommend if you're growing them for anything like this is the one called Defender. And ever since I've done that, and I grow quite a few of the garden as well, I've never had trouble in the tunnel or anything with whitefly. I know some say it works, some say it don't. I must say it does work for me anyway. So I always put a row of marigolds down. Well, mate. This is planted up as of now. My tomatoes have just gone out. And that's me, the 2 rows of tomatoes I put in the tunnel. Well, mate. I grow these. This is a set I put in at a show once, and I can highly recommend them. These are a Pero. They're a small plum, and I think they're well worth growing, especially anybody who likes showing small fruited tomatoes. Go on, mate. This is a carrot bed I built a few years back because we have a lot of trouble with carrot fly. Go on, mate. I built a top for it as well, what I can take off it. This is planted up now. There are carrots set in there. In it, I usually get about 90 carrots, and I covered it with Enviromesh. But the carrots are just coming through. Right, mate. Right, mate. And this is what I try and grow and actually show a few of these at the same time. Right, mate. And that was one of the last shows we could go to before we had this lockdown. Right, mate. I grow 8 ounce onions as well. These are, as of now, these are tough ball, which I know Mick says he's growing. And I shall be harvesting these. These will not be much longer before I'm taking these out. Well, mate. A nice set. And like I say, that's what I end up with. And again, mate. And make a nice set of onions. Well, mate. I do grow leeks as well. These are some blanche leeks, which I grow in the greenhouse at home before I take them to the allotment. Well, mate. The pot leeks, I grow 1 or 2 pot leeks at the same time. Well, mate. Again, mate. That's a row of the blanche leeks, like Mick's shown on his pictures, with the covers on and some taken off. Well, that's a nice set. Well, mate. And that's the set which I didn't yet, but that's what sort of thing I'm aiming for a set of nice leeks. Well, mate. These were the onions last year in the polytunnel. which I did quite well with. They made some good, nice onions for me. That's when they harvested. We've got a good, some nice sets out of them. Go on, mate. And again. And that's what I'm aiming for when they've got a nice finish to them. Go on, mate. These are onions I've grown this year, which are now planted up in the tunnel. Go on, mate. And these are out of the tunnel. Last year, I grew in the beds. This year, I give the beds a rest, and I've decided to grow in tubs. So I've 2 rows of onions either side of the tunnel. Go on, mate. And that's the other side. Right, mate. You can grow bigger onions. I do like a pint. I like a pint of Guinness. I know Mick likes a drink as well. In fact, we've had 1 or 2 together. That's just the sort of thing. I gave that to a friend of mine who's got a pub, and he put it out on the bar just to show outside of it. Come on, mate. That's what I call a pub when you've got hand pumps like that, out spade handles or out fork handles. Come on, mate.
Okay.
That's me, and thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Dave. Cheers. Good on you.
Yeah.
Nick, you got your hand up, mate?
Yeah, I don't know where to start, really.
No.
Firstly, I should have made some notes, but firstly, the cucumber harvest. Amazing. What's the variety?
Carmen.
Carmen, yeah, I'm growing them. Is that purposely done for show?
No, those were grown, like I say, when I did the kitchen garden. I don't work there now. I'm retired. I've been retired for 3 years. But I had 5 or 6 years setting up that kitchen garden. And like I say, all the produce we grew went to the restaurant. And they wanted, they do quite a lot of salads. So they wanted cucumbers, tomatoes, lettuce. And so I'd set up the cucumber house. But I grow them that way, as you see them climbing up. And we had over 300 cucumbers up there.
Yeah, Carmen's a good variety. And what sort of time would you be harvesting them? Sort of July?
Yeah, around that time. I do find that you hear a lot of conflicting things. A lot of people think to water high potash feed. I just water nitrogen.
Yeah, okay. Secondly, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Now, secondly, your onions last year, the show onions looking really good.
Yeah, you couldn't show them because there were no shows on it.
Yeah.
It was a bit disappointing. I had quite a nice... In fact, they did very well because, as you probably know, it's very hard to get... You could grow a lot of onions, but it's very hard to match them up. Last year, I could have matched 3 or 4 sets up easy, but unfortunately, there were no shows. So
exactly the same last year and this year. What's the strain of show onions you're growing?
The onions.
Yeah.
What strain? The strain originator. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It doesn't grow now, but it used to one at best. One of good quality onion growers with Gerald Treewheat. And his strain, Peter Holden had off him.
Okay.
And then Peter's carried on from there, which is now the Peter Holden strain.
Well,
but originally from Gerald Treewheat.
Yeah. I'm growing Peter Holden strain from about 3 years ago, and it's such a pear-shaped onion. It's unbelievable. And I just like to say, your garden looks amazing. A lot of work. Impressed.
I think with anything in life, you only get out of a thing what you're prepared to put into it. And if you're prepared to put, that goes with anything. If you're prepared to put effort in and time in, you will be rewarded.
Yeah. What shows do you do?
Pardon?
What shows do you normally, apart from COVID, what shows do you normally show at?
Well, I've been to national, the national shows a time or two. I go to Harrogate, which Harrogate now is going to the new venue, which is it Ruby Hall.
Ripon, isn't it?
Yeah, up to Harrogate, show them, which is the northern branch. And then we have a zone Derbyshire District Association, which is show there as well.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, really good setup. I like it. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you.
You grow your tough ball onions to maturity in your pots, Dave, or do you plant them out?
The tough ball onions I set off round about September the 20th. That's the year before. The reason being that you can still sow them in your greenhouse. It's warm and they'll germinate. And then I prick them out into small pots. I take them down to the allotment. In fact, those you've seen, they were froze solid. And I thought, oh, I'm going to lose these. But they are a fantastic onion. And like I say, we're growing them the year before. You can grow them, prick them out, take them, put them away somewhere. And then I pot on, and then they go in the final pot when I think they're big enough. And I grow them.
You grow them to maturity in pots. You don't plant them in the ground.
No, I grow them in the pots. No, I find that with any onion, if you're trying to judge an onion or looking at onion, if you look down over the top of the onion, you like to be the stem what comes up from the flutes. You like it to be central. By growing them in pots, I can tease them about a little bit, play about with them, clip them, and you get a better quality onion that way.
I've only ever been to Chesterfield once. I played golf there on a course that was, well, it was like playing on the side of a mountain. I can't remember what it was called, but I never went back again.
They were a bit hard for you.
Oh, too much, yeah. Lovely course, but it was very, very difficult.
Did you see Spire? Cooking Spire?
Oh, yes, we did, yes.
Lovely. Yeah, they say if a virgin walks into town, it'll turn. Help me, Dave.
My mate used to work at Chesterfield at the pit. He was some sort of manager. Not mate, he was an ex-golfing colleague. He was there 25 years ago.
Steve, you got your hand up. We've got a question for you, mate.
What pit did you work at, Dave?
What pit did I work? Markham number 2.
Markham Main?
Markham number 2. The area at Markham Colliery, we had 3 pits, number 1, 4 and number 2. And I worked at Markham number 2.
I worked at Shire Oaks.
Oh, yeah.
And Whitwell and Mountain.
Oh, did you? Ex-pit man, nice to talk to you.
And you, mate. Nice to see you still around. And I've drove one of them Doscos.
Have you? Well, you must have worked in Eddings then.
I did, and then I was machine driving.
Oh, happy memories.
Where are you from then, Dave?
Chesterfield. Well, Brimington. Just outside Brimington, yeah.
Do you know where Balbury, where Darfolds is?
Yeah. Yeah, going on to Whitwell. Yeah.
Yeah, that way on, past Half Moon. Well, I'm around corner from that.
Well, just past Half Moon?
Yeah.
Are you? Well, I go up now. You know, was that our farm shop?
Yeah, to shop.
I go there now and again just for bits and pieces like that. So you don't live far from there then?
Just out road.
Yeah.
£9 for a rabbit there. A frozen rabbit, £9.
Come get your own, Steve.
Hey?
Davey, can I ask a quick question, please?
Of course, can.
Yeah. Why do you think that there's more bugs now than there used to be? I'd see them pictures of when there was no coverings on the vegetables, and my granddad used to grow like that. Why do you think there's more bugs now on things?
On on our allotment site, it backs onto farmers' fields. And ever since he growed rapeseed, that oil rapeseed, that yellow flower, at the back of the allotments, we had a hell of a lot of trouble with whitefly. And since we had it, we can't get shut on it. And that,
do you know what I think?
Go on.
I think there's too much insecticide used, and they don't use it to the correct dose rates, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, there's a good possibility. But I know years ago, I mean, my granddad, he never netted anything or did anything like that.
No, my granddad never used to.
No.
Don't forget, nowadays we're getting new aphids.
Pardon?
We're getting new aphids. It was only 20 years ago when we first had the allium leaf miner.
That's right.
That come over from Russia.
Yeah.
Now, flea beetle is another new one.
Yeah.
That's been here 10 years now. Now, we had that on site 2 years ago. First time we'd ever have it. I've never heard it before.
Combined with the milder winters as well, I think that might have an effect.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say that's a very good point, Matt.
50s
milder winters.
Yeah, the weather's changing.
Yeah.
We used to have long, cold winters, didn't we? In the 50s.
Summers and all.
Hey, Dave, you don't
The
get...
summers are a lot hotter, aren't they?
I think we do, but I also think that people buy products and don't use them correctly.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
I know a lad on our allotments, and he thought he'd been sabotaged because all his stuff died. And when we looked, he'd bought some sort of spray, and he'd overmixed it. And he killed all his crop.
Overdosed.
Hey, Dave, try stone dust.
Pardon?
Try stone dust.
Stone dust? Dolomite.
They don't like that. It's only a steepler.
Yeah.
You can get a bag from down there. I ain't got any more left. I'll give you some, but try it.
I think it's quite simple, really. I think weak plants, get rid of them.
Yeah. I'm very selective, I agree.
Jeffrey, you got your hand up. You got a question, mate?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, in the picture with the onions, with the rings on them, in the pots, there's a little bag on there. Was it kind of something to attract something, or this?
Nematodes.
That what I use is the little bites what you put on it for thrip. They were on for.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And if you look up Ladybird plant care, they deal with all sorts of things. What you can get.
Predators,
yeah.
I used to use them, but the problem I found is they're temperature controlled, and through the spring, if you've got low temperatures at all, it just used to kill the predators.
Yeah, I use mine in the greenhouse. Because probably you do with a heater on to try and keep a constant temperature, and it worked for me in the past. Yeah. I've not done bad with them in the past. I've also had pretty clean stuff using them anyway. It's another way to do away, I think, with spraying if you can avoid it. I know we do spray, and I hold my hands up. I do, but I try to do it as
I agree with you.
Least as I can.
I've gone down the predator route for a few years, and this year and last year I didn't go down the predator route. It's expensive, inefficient, and you're right, quite right. Insecticide, it's not the best method, but if you're going for showing,
that's then, I quite agree. I mean, I try and limit it as much as I possibly can, but I hold my hands up. I do spray, or sometimes I've had to spray, especially red spider mite around onions when it gets red hot in your tunnel, which is a very bad thing. Red spider mite. There again, you can get predators for that, but sometimes you have to spray. It's like you say, especially if you're growing for showing.
Yeah, got no choice.
If it's showing and not eating, I think it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big. I mean, I grow all my own veg, potatoes, all my greens and everything. I love growing for the table. Growing for show is just a little side thing for me. I enjoy doing. I try to grow something to the best of my ability, which I do enjoy. But I do grow my allotment is taken up because I love to eat food straight. There's nothing finer than going down to allotment, digging a root potatoes up, cutting a cabbage or a cauliflower or whatever, bringing it home and having it for your dinner. And I think you enjoy your dinner better because you know how it's been grown.
Yeah.
You've grown it, and it tastes a lot better.
My last question is then: if you're using insecticides, what do you use for thrips and red spider mite?
I use Dynamic for red spider mite or killer mite. I try, and if I have to use it, like I say, I don't like, but I do alternate from killer mite to Dynamic.
Same product, isn't it?
Well, they say it is, but I don't know whether it is. Are you certain it's the same?
Yeah, it's the same product. Uses the same insecticide chemical that kills them. Another one to try is Conserve, which is a very good product, and it's a bit more when I say natural, it's not so offensive.
Conserve. What, for red spider?
Yeah, both.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll look at that then. That's a good point. Thank you very much.
Use that doctor on the red spider.
I'd just like to say one thing. The only thing I ever got rid of from pests was on Brussels sprouts. You know the little white flies you have in the winter? When you pass them, they all fly up. And the only thing that I used on that was TCP.
TCP?
TCP.
All right.
It
they
stinks
taste like
to high
TCP
heaven,
afterwards.
and they just went, I gargle first, save it, and then I use it on the...
It's on Amazon, Cole.
No, I'm not kidding. It really worked, TCP. But that's the only thing it's worked on, so...
I suppose you could use Jay's as well, Jay's fluid.
Yeah, but I kind of associated TCP with my throat and gargling when I got a sore throat.
Yeah, I suppose.
And with Jay's liquid, I wouldn't do it.
TCP Brussels.
No, but I sprayed the top leaves, so the sprouts really don't get that much on them, and you don't smell them after a day or two. The smell's gone from the sprouts, but don't spray them before you eat.
Cheers all, gotta go.
People keep mentioning Nemo. Can you use Nemo or something like that?
Yeah, but I didn't know about Nemo till I went.
Because I've got some Nemo, but I didn't quite know what to use it for. Would that help with spider mite?
I haven't got a clue. I've got to be honest.
The button down the bottom there. Right.
Cheers all. Bye.
Cheers, Lizzie. It's worth a go, Suzanne.
Sorry?
It's worth a go.
Yeah, because I've got some, and I've got I've noticed the last couple of years I've got spider mite in the greenhouse.
Yeah.
I keep taking the webs off, but it just keeps coming back.
That's fine now. Yeah, name them.
I'll try it.
Any more questions for Dave while we got hold of him?
Thanks, Dave.
No, really, thanks, and really good pictures.
Yeah.
Cheers, Dave.
All right, cheers, mate. Thank you very much for having
Austin.
me. All right, buddy.
To say it's your first one, perfect. Right, back down the plot. My strawberries, they need ferreting, weeding. So I took the net up on one side, and luckily I can reach straight over from this side and get all the weeds out. Normally, if these are a bit bigger, I'll do one side, bring that down, and then do the other side. But as the plants are only small, I can reach over and do the lot. Let's put it back on again. That's another job done out the road. All my old tops off the raised beds are dry now, so I'm all wrapped up. Spikes are put in, the pegs put away, and they're stored ready for next year or the end of the season. Right, this was Thursday. Dudley Council, our local council, on a Thursday afternoon, put a free Zoom on with composting. I thought I'll have a go at that. So this is me clicking on. There was Anton there. He's from Garden Organic, and there was David there. He was from Dudley Council. He organised the what's it. When they first kicked off, they put this on. How confident are you in your knowledge of composting at the start of the season? And everybody who was on there, which you can see, there was 22 people. We had to put a number in. I put mine in, 9. Obviously, nobody's perfect. And I think I was the only one who put 9 in. At the end, a few would come up. This is after we'd gone through everything and he'd done his spiel. There was a few things which he brought up which I disagreed with, but I kept my mouth shut because I don't want to fall out with anybody else. And then on the evening we had another Zoom talk, and that was to Wickham Market. This was on raised beds and no dig, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, well, like with my Zooms anyway. But to gardening clubs, and we had the Q&A at the end, but that was a good one. And next year, hopefully, I'll have me back, but I'll go down there. And because it's over 2 hours distance, I shall have me B&B in a travel lodge, so I can have a couple of beers. Right, a couple of nights ago, we've had high winds. So first thing I do next day is go down and have a look at damage. And you can see the rose which was growing up there. The wind has splattered him. He's hanging over, and that one is hanging over there. Luckily, it didn't snap, so that the stems were nice and supple. So I was managed to put him back up again and tie him back up. And these trailers are going along my wires nicely now. And at the bottom, where I put my sweet peas in last year and had nothing, these come through, as you can see there. And also, Aquilegia, is it, that little chap there? Them will come through. Now these were put in last year as well, and they had a bit of growth on, but no flowers. Don't forget, there's only about 1.5 inches of soil here, so whatever's in there, they ain't going to do well anyway. That's probably why this lot has took 2 years to get going, but at least I've got them this year. But it's just an extra bit of colour up the end of that patio. And delphiniums are doing well. I shall have to tie these up soon because if you start getting the winds again. But somebody said this afternoon when I was down the plot for a quick nose that we're supposed to be getting the good weather by end of next week. I hope I'm right. And I'm looking up the right hand side of the garden, the blue bells, white bells, and there's a couple of pink bells in there as well. Them are starting dying off now, so the other stuff can get going, which is what I want. What was this one? I did have it written down, but Lynn come down the trading shed Saturday. I had to sign my book for her. I bought my book down, and I bought this plant and all. Origami, is it?
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, I bought us these for doing my book signing. These are beautiful. Jared don't like chocolate, so he may want one, but they're busted. Lynn, oh my goodness. And next week's speakers, we've got Claire from France, we've got Mark from a quaint village of Colligate. I've heard of that. And we've got John from Taunton. So them are our speakers for next week. And I'm sorting out for the week after. And that's it, guys and girls. Hope you have enjoyed it. Learned something. Speakers have done well. To say 2 of them I've never spoken before.
No wheel, Nick.
Sorry?
No wheel.
Oh, what a tit. I mean, that's Spanish for I bloody forgot about it.
You know what? 10% more brain, you'd be a cabbage.
Oh dear.
It is here somewhere.
I knew something would go wrong.
No,
Does that mean we won? Felt a bit odd this week. No wheel.
Oh dear.
There is a wheel. He is on here.
I don't
know. Are you moonlighting and doing Radio Caroline? Because you sound like you're in a submarine.
Who?
I don't get that shit.
Me?
Yeah. Every week.
Really?
He's in his van, Amazon van.
Oh, put a light on.
Hey dear. Paul, why have you sent me a first class stamp?
No, you got to send me one.
I've got to send you one.
Yeah, because you wanted them flower seeds, delphiniums.
I didn't think you'd sorted them. I thought you'd lost them.
No, I've still got them.
Right, it's on its way.
Okay, boss.
Bloody hell, Mick's done a runner.
I'm still here.
He's working on it.
Hey, look, local brew, Mick.
I ain't working on it. I didn't want to bloody do it.
I've got to have Austin. I've been watching your picture for 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
What kind of bird goes in that birdhouse above your head?
What kind of
bird?
Oh, it's a picture. Sitting in the bedroom. It's not a birdhouse. It's a picture of something with it's got like a slate with a message on it.
I thought it was a birdhouse.
No.
If the birds are the
not yet. Put an idea in my head.
Nice to see Jeffrey here this week.
Let him have a drink. I thought he was doing that well tonight, and I've left the bloody wheel out, the worm wheel. I've got it up earlier on.
Paul, what cheap crap you got this week?
Cheap crap. This Stourport bread.
Where did you buy it from?
The shop.
Aldi.
No, not Aldi. Off license.
Lidl.
License.
It's 8.4, Steve.
Good. Yeah, I know. I've sucked more green paint. I didn't get this fat on sex, you know.
Yeah, I know. Rick
Do a rollover next week, Mick.
Me and Dave's been. Is what?
What was that?
I said do a rollover next week.
We'll have to
roll over. Double
rollover, yeah.
Stu, me, because I didn't register today. I didn't come until late.
Oh, come on. I feel
don't
lucky.
include Colin in one of them then.
I'm feeling lucky.
Do it then.
I've only come on to see if there are any goodies free. And the only thing he's got to offer me, Mick, is 5 potatoes. We're like, hey, Mick, your combs are through.
Oh. Good.
Not flour this year, will there?
What's that off?
Them combs you sent me.
Nah, if you do get a flower, snap them off.
Snap them off?
Yeah, so the grub goes back into the corn, ready for next year.
Right, shall do.
Cormlets. Yeah. Anybody put the runners out yet?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
2 days ago.
Oh. I was going to put mine out, but we had slight frost last night.
Yeah.
I think with this weather, Mick, we're a month behind, aren't we?
Oh, wow.
Somebody said on one of the sites that can I plant tomatoes? And they said, yeah, because with this weather, we're like a month behind.
Yeah.
We won't have the light in autumn, though, will we?
No idea. I don't know. Hopefully.
It'll be the longest day soon when it went out.
That's what I said, yeah, 21st of June.
3 weeks.
Nights to start drawing in again.
Yeah.
Well, according to solstice, that's what's happening now, isn't it? And we just had a dizzy spell on nights drawing in.
No.
Cheers, Scott, mate.
I know it's usually sister-in-law's birthday, 21st of June. Yeah, like Suzanne said.
Hmm.
We've got another month.
That's when they start going back again, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't know.
I reckon that's when your onions stop growing, isn't it?
No, their mine's already stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What should I be feeding my onions with now? You experts.
Sorry?
What should I be feeding my onions with at the moment? Nitrogen? Or
nothing.
But they didn't get anything in the spring either.
Oh, well, that... should have fed them early. They should be happy by now.
A lot of them are sending up flower shoots.
You need to ask Nick or Mick about that. I don't know what you'd feed on your onions.
It'll tell you.
Did you put anything on your bed to prepare your bed?
No, because it was a quick shove them in.
Fish blood and bone is good as anything.
Actually, they did have onion fertiliser. They did have that.
When did they have that? Halfway through the...
No, that's when I first put them in.
Have you got any of that left?
Yeah, I got loads.
2 feeds during the growing season.
Right, okay. Actually, I did give them some more. It was about 2 months ago, though.
I mean, that rain we've just had should pick everything up.
No, Nigel.
Or if you're really struggling, scattering a bloodfish and bone won't hurt anything.
Yeah. What about hoof and horn? I've got both of them.
Yeah, a couple of ounces, you know, square yard, and that never doesn't do.
I just do sprinkle.
Just go overdo it.
That's it.
I did have a fox in my garden recently. That's why I've not put anything too much like that down.